Hey ho, how are you? Carl here, everyday mystic and all. Been a while. You'll have to forgive the red face. I've just come from 20 minutes on an assault bike. I don't know why they call them assault bikes unless it's that they assault me. However, I digress. While on the bike, and most of the time while I'm exercising, is when I have an opportunity to free associate, let the mind wander and head off in different directions. On this occasion, I had a look at trauma tests. The internet's littered with them at the moment. How traumatized were you as a child? And what's your trauma score? And oh, my partner couldn't believe it when they saw my results of my trauma test, etc., etc. So I did one for yucks more than anything else. And it showed quite low results. And for a moment, I was quite disappointed until I sat with that for a longer moment and said, why was I a little bit disappointed that I'm not traumatized? Well, the story is I carried a lot of trauma, uh, about as many different kinds as you want to think about, whether it's physical abuse, neglect, hunger, homelessness, uh, attack, uh, been stabbed a few times, and things like that, or sexual assault. It's in there. It's probably my hardest one to let go of or anything because it's the one I find hardest to speak about. But here we go. Dun dun dun. I'm not going to speak about it really, other than to say I discovered my trauma score is very low. I am no longer traumatized, apparently. And you have to ask yourself, why? And the answer is quite simple. I learned along the way how to put things down. Not necessarily how to forget them or leave them behind, but certainly how to leave them in my environment, but not have the weight of them walking around with me all the time. And it has taken a long time to do that. A long time. It's taken several failed relationships, which I had to take my accountability for. It's taken one successful one. Yay! It's taken running myself to the ground. It's taken having to take a step back from myself over the last 7 years and reevaluate what I thought, who I thought I was, look for the shadow, understand all that sort of stuff, and then having understood it properly, not how I thought I understood it for the first 4 decades of my life, start applying the acceptance of Taoism. Acceptance of Taoism is just a label. The art of acceptance. It's a label to put on saying, yes, it happened. Yes, there was an adversity. Yes, it had results and it had consequences and it made me feel a way. But I am responsible in the long run for whether I keep feeling that way or don't keep feeling that way. And I choose not to keep feeling that way because I now look at where I am and say, let's make the best of this. So even on the bad days, there are good things. It's hard to find a bad day that's just bad from wall to wall. It's not impossible. There are plenty of people out there facing them. And yet there are people out there facing them who still care about people and think about people and love and would sacrifice for people, even though they have little or nothing to sacrifice. So what do we do? What do we think? We think in terms of I and me and my struggle and my trauma and my and I and I and I and I. Stop thinking in terms of I. Think in terms of we. My family lives a normal life despite the traumas. My partner and I have a lovely life together despite all the traumas, because of all the traumas. And there's your yin and your yang. Because I had trauma, I wound up where I am today. Had I not had trauma, I would probably have wound up somewhere completely different in some other life. But I didn't. So that's how you make it work. Be grateful for where you are and what you've got. As the old Irish saying is, there's nothing so bad it couldn't be worse. And that is true. So when you're thinking about your traumas and recovering and all the rest of it, don't worry so much about recovering from your trauma. Worry more about getting out from the weight of it, so it doesn't weigh down every decision you make. It's not the anchor to which your boat is tethered. It's not something that holds you in one place. It's not something that dictates the answer to any question or any reaction or any encounter or any relationship. Your trauma is just a series of things that happened in the past that does not necessarily reflect the decisions you're going to make in the future. It'll inform them, but doesn't have to influence them. Now, you have a good day.